welcome to my channel. I'm Anne and today I'm going to be bringing you my end of year book tag. So I thought that this would be a nice and easy video to get me back into creating videos again because it's been about 2 weeks since I've made a video. So this is a book tag where we have a bunch of questions that I have to answer, and it kind of is rounding out the end of the year, talking about things that I still need to finish, things I am expecting to read before the end of the year, and so on and so forth. I don't know, I can't remember who created this video to start with, but once I find them, I will definitely tag them down in the description. A massive thank you to them for creating this video. I'm sorry I don't know the name, but they will definitely be tagged down below, so make sure you check them out because this isn't something that I made myself. So let's get into the first question. So the first one is, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? And generally I am a person who will finish a book. Once I start a book, I try and finish it before I continue. I don't generally put down a book, leave it for a couple of months and then have to pick it back up. Generally I do finish them as soon as I can. So the first one that is taking up a massive chunk of my time is It by Stephen King. So I'm currently reading this for a reading vlog that I am working on. I do have 2 other books that are part of this, but I have started this. I am currently 454 pages into this, and I definitely want to try and finish it before the end of the year. I've been breaking it up into 50-page increments to try and help me get through it, so I tried to aim for 50 pages a day. But the thing is with Stephen King is he is such a descriptive writer with a lot of things that I wouldn't say are 100% necessary to the story that are kind of in here, so it does take me that little bit longer to get into it. It is also based in a time period like 1950s or something, so the writing is also a little bit different, the way people speak, so it takes me just that little bit longer to get through the 50 pages. So I'm hoping I can finish this before the end of the year. And the next one that I want to talk about and try and definitely I'm aiming to finish before the end of the year is The Silvered Serpents by Roshani Chokshi. This is book 2 in the Gilded Wolves series. This is a novel where we're following a group of people who are skilled in doing heists. This is based in the 1800s. First one was based in Paris. This one is based in Russia. I don't want to talk too much about this, but we are following the characters from book 1 and watching them kind of deal with what happened in book 1, and then also start a new heist to reach a goal that they all have, and everyone has a different goal, so it's very interesting to watch. I am 165 pages in, so I definitely think that I will be finishing this one definitely before the end of the year, and hopefully I can actually get to the 3rd book in this trilogy before the end of the year, because that would be awesome and tick off a series for the end of the year. The next book that I definitely want to finish before the end of the year is a beta read. It is called Dreams of Debt and Deities by Celia Rock. I'm currently beta reading this and I've gotten about halfway. The part 2 of the beta read has been given to me, so I definitely need to finish that before the end of the year and provide feedback to the author. So this is book 2 in the Crooked Kingdoms series, I think that's what it's called. The Crooked Crowns series. So this is book 2 in the Crooked Crowns series, and I am having the best time. In book 1 we're following our main character Clara, and she has been taken by 2 men to visit the king because the king has found out that she has powers that she shouldn't have. So she has these 2 men who have to train her, and a lot of things happen within that book, and I'm very excited to continue with my beta read and provide more feedback. I have to say Celia's writing is chef's kiss. I cannot believe that I'm reading a rough draft. This feels like a finished document. It is that beautiful, that lyrical, and I'm just so obsessed with it, so I definitely want to finish that before the end of the year. The next question is, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? Now for me, we are moving into summer, so I don't technically have an autumnal book, but I don't really read by season. So if we were moving into a more summer vibe, I would probably go with a romance or something. But because this question specifically asked for an autumnal book, I would definitely say probably the most autumnal book that I can think of is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. In this one, we're following our main character, who is a orc, and she has been injured. She's part of the army, and she ends up being injured, and she's left in this town to open up a bookshop or a coffee shop. To open up a coffee shop, I think that's what it is, and there's a romance within there. I think this is very autumnal. The cover gives me autumnal vibes, and if I did read seasonally, I think I would pick this one up. I am planning on picking it up at some point, but probably not before the end of the year, unfortunately. I've just got too much to read. Is there a new release you're still waiting for? So there is 3 main ones that I'm still waiting for, and we've got When Death Called Life Home. This was a beta read that I did, and I just received the ARC in my emails this morning. This is a debut book by an NZ author, Zoe J. Breyer, and I am so obsessed with this. This is a fantasy romance. In this one, we're following our main character, Alora, and she randomly turned up at this estate 3 years ago, and she has no memory of her life before these 3 years. And she is being paraded before wealthy lords and viscounts while stealing precious moments with another lady in the beautifully kept gardens when no man is looking. Fate, however, needs her to remember. When deafening screams rip apart her secret relationship, Alora gives no second thoughts to following the only other person who can hear them, and finds herself pulled into a war between kin, all while losing her heart to the only one who has ever truly kept it safe. And then we're following Askian. He has spent 3 years building his walls tall and immovable, hiding any softness beneath layers of grit and stone. Now he no longer remembers what it feels like to open up to someone, to hand his heart over without protection. For 3 years he fought eternal life itself, defending death and everything that came with it in an attempt to keep balance in his world. Until one day, a girl falls through a crack between worlds, a crack that should never have existed, and sets off an avalanche of events that might just end up knocking down his immovable guards. But can he keep the world around him intact while losing his heart to the only one who can destroy it? This is such a beautiful book. This comes out at the end of December, and I beta read it, and I'm so glad that I did. This is one of my favorite books, but I cannot wait for it actually to be released so everyone else can read it and love it, because this is the most stunning book I've ever read. It lives in my mind rent free, and I cannot wait for it to be in other readers' hands. Another release that I cannot wait for it to be out is A Tongue So Sweet and Deadly by Sophia St. Germain. I have an ARC of this, and I am going to be reading this very, very soon, and I'm very, very excited. This is about a half-fae Alicia. She could have had half-fae Alicia could have had everything, literally. Since her magic allows her to compel anyone to do her bidding by merely looking into their eyes, the world was at her feet. But after a tragic accident, she is thrown into the Fae King's dungeons and forced to swear a blood oath to him, binding her to his service. 5 years later, she's living amongst humans in Elo and has created a life for herself, as much as she can, with the king's promise to call in his debt looming over her. When he finally comes to collect, she is made to infiltrate the human elections to determine whether the current regent is involved in the strange things happening in the land of Fae. With the promise of freedom from the king's claws, Alicia is determined to see it through. Liberty is within reach, as long as she can keep the lethal Fae guard watching over her from eliminating her before she unearths the information the king seeks. But as she grows closer to the brooding human regent and secrets begin to unravel, Alicia realizes great forces may be at play, and she might stand before the choice between her own freedom and that of a nation. I cannot wait for this. I'm so excited. This is my first book by Sophia St. Germain, but I've heard so many great things about this. One of my really good friends, Bessie, has read this and absolutely loves it, and I do have an ARC, so I will be reading this very, very soon. I love a Fae story. I love forbidden romance, and I love a sort of enemies to lovers where one of them possibly has to kill the other if they don't do as they are told, which is amazing. The next book that I'm very, very excited for, that is going to be released soon, is Fate and Fury by Emily Collin. So this is another fantasy romance, which I am obsessed with and in love with. And this is Katerina Ivanova is the most powerful Demi in Izraka, She uses her command over the four elements alongside Nico, her blood-bonded shadow, to guard the portals to the underworld and protect the realm from demonic invasion. When the two are recruited to compete to join Izraka's most elite force, no one suspects their secret. The bond they share goes beyond magic and enters taboo territory. Love between Endymion and her shadow isn't just a bad idea, it's been prophesied to set an ancient darkness loose upon the world. But some forces are too powerful to resist, and despite their best intentions, one night Nico and Katarina surrender to the undeniable pull between them, with devastating results. As they struggle to save Ariska from the forces they've unleashed, the last person they expect will risk anything to tear them apart, even make a deal with the devil. Walk the fine line between dire consequences and deadly desire in this Slavic-inspired romantasy. And I'm very, very excited for this one. I also have an arc of this, and I'm so excited. The tagline for this is "Break me like your promises," and it sounds like it's going to be angsty and juicy and so forbidden love, and I'm very, very excited for that one. So the next question is, what are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? I have many, but the main ones that I really want to get to is The Assassin Thief by Madeline Tawu. This is a fantasy romance where we're following our main character Tellum, and she is an assassin. And she lives out her days in exile as she fights for dominance over her dark gifts. But all that changes when an errant Fey warrior enters her domain, drawn by rumours of a powerful being said to be born from the shadow of the dark goddess Tenebris. With the kingdoms on the brink of chaos, he calls for her aid in his mission to defeat the mad Fey king and prevent an all-out war. I'm very excited. I have met Madeline. I haven't met Madeline, but I've interacted with her a lot on Instagram, and I have her whole series pretty much. So I'm very, very excited. This is a trilogy, and she is an Australian author, and I'm very, very excited. I'm so excited to read this. I've heard so many amazing things about this, and the trilogy has just finished, so it's the perfect time to get into this one. The next one is Heliacal Rising by CC Davy. This is an NZ author. I have met CC and I am absolutely in love with CC. And this is a signed copy because I did meet CC at Armageddon. And this is a dark fantasy about a woman who is raised to be a wife, taught to be obedient, expected to submit. Taken in as a ward of Lord Draken after her parents' slaughter, forced to navigate a new life, trying to become what is required of her in a world so vastly different than what she had known. Then Attica, kingdom of the witchlings, moves to rise again. Territories long alienated are forced to unite, secrets begin to unravel, secrets that make her question everything. She is Amelia Silvers, and she is about to show the world that even the most unexpected can burn the brightest. I'm so excited for this. CC has been picked up by a publisher, New Dawn Publishing, so I'm very, very excited for her. But these covers will be changing, so I'm very glad that I got all of these covers before she got picked up. But I'm very excited for this one. It is quite a short one, so I'm very intrigued. I definitely want to pick this one up before the end of the year, because who doesn't end the year with starting series instead of finishing them? The next one that I want to read is Quicksilver. So I bought this on ebook when it was self-published, and panic bought it because I was afraid that it would not be available for me to read because it's going to be part of a vlog that I'm still working on. So we've got Quicksilver. It is book 1 in the Fae and Alchemy series, and this is by Callie Hart. I've heard so many great things about this one, and I'm very, very excited. So do not touch the sword. Do not turn the key. Do not open the gate. In the land of the unforgiving desert, there isn't much a girl wouldn't do for a glass of water. 20-year-old Sirius Vane is good at keeping secrets. No one knows about the strange power she possesses or the fact that she has been picking pockets. Ew, that's a bug. She's been picking pockets and stealing from the undying queen's reservoirs for as long as she remember. But a secret is like a knot. Sooner or later, it is bound to come undone. When Sirius comes face to face with death himself, she inadvertently reopens a gateway between realms and is transported to a land of ice and snow. The Fae have always been the stuff of myth, of legend, of nightmares, but it turns out they're real. And Sirius has landed herself right in the middle of a centuries-long conflict that might just get her killed. The first of her kind to tread the frozen mountains of Yvelia. In over 1,000 years, Sirius mistakenly binds herself to Kingfisher, a handsome Fae warrior who has secrets and nefarious agendas of his own. He will use her alchemist magic to protect his people no matter what it costs him or her. Death has a name. It is Kingfisher of Ajun Gate. His past is murky, his attitude stinks, and he's the only way Sirius is going to make it home. Be careful of the deals you make, dear child. The devil is in the details. I'm so excited for this one. I've heard so many amazing things about this, and I cannot wait to read this because I'm obsessed and I want to talk about this book with all my friends who've already read. Next question. Is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite of the year? Absolutely. There are Helical Rising. I've heard so many things about this. I definitely think this is going to be a 5-star read for me, and it can definitely get up there in my favorite books. I've been reading so many great books this year. And then also The Assassin Thief, I definitely think could become a favorite of the year as well. Again, I've heard so many great things about it, and I am very, very obsessed already with the world, with the characters, and the author. So I will be very disappointed if either of these become favorites of the year. Another one is The Ever King by L.J. Andrews. I definitely think that this could be an absolute favorite of mine. I've heard that this is Fae Pirates. I'm very, very excited. It's more of a forbidden romance again, and we have enemies to lovers vibes, which I'm very, very excited about. So yes, I'm very, very excited for all the books that I plan to read before the end of the year. Have you already started making reading plans for next year? Yes, I have. Being a content creator means that I have to be always thinking 5 steps ahead, like a month in advance sort of thing. So I'm definitely going to be continuing with my TBR Veterans Jar vlog series. I've been a little bit slack on it the last couple of months just because I've been working on one big main project. I'm also going to be aiming to do my best of 2024. That is helped by Katie Coulson as she compiles everyone's favorite books of the year and then gives us a list. I'm hoping to work on that one as well at some point in the new year. I'm also thinking maybe I will take part in do a Goodreads winners or something along those lines. There's a lot of vlog ideas that I have, and my biggest goal will definitely be to try and reduce all of the books that I have on my TBR that are unread. That is going to be a big goal of mine next year. I've already started planning my 25 before I turn 25. I've also started planning my 25 in 2025. I've been working on my 12 book recs from 12 friends that I read over the 12 months. There's a lot going on. There always is being a content creator, and I'm always getting new ideas. So I think that over my Christmas break, I'm going to be sitting down and starting to plan some of those longer vlogs and giving myself some more time to actually film them, because I like to give myself a deadline and then there's no way for me to reach that deadline because there's so many books within the vlogs. So I definitely think that I just need to get a little bit better with planning and organizing next year. And we will talk about goals and things like that in the upcoming videos that I've got, because it's the end of year, baby, which means end of year content, and I'm very, very excited. And this also means that I have been creating videos on YouTube for a year. I know if you go back on my profile, I made videos 5 years ago and 4 years ago, and then I stopped, but I don't really count that because it's been years. So I've been creating content on YouTube for a full year, and I'm very, very excited about that. So I started in November of last year, which is exciting. So yeah, we will talk a little bit more about everything that's going to be happening, all the plans that I have for the new year, all the goals that I have for the new year in a upcoming video. So if you like this video, make sure you give it a like, comment down below what your plans are for the end of the year, and if you have any fun video ideas for me to do in the new year, that would be great. And make sure to subscribe if you want to see more content from me. Bye.